What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here. It's Ma'am! It's Ma'am! And today, we are going to be bashing Ubisoft because that's so easy. Even I can do that.
Do you like owning things? Do you enjoy having possessions? I mean, I do. I love capitalism. It's such.
Doesn't that go against his blatant communist mantra of communism good, capitalism bad, though? Is there some kind of strange shift happening? Or is the Act Man so desperate to be relatable and liked by the community that he has lost, that he's trying to become a capitalist?
Such a simple yet genius idea. You work to earn money, and then you use that money to buy things, and then you own those things and can do whatever you want with them. It's genius. Why didn't Karl Marx think of this? Now, it might be a bit.
Oh, capitalism good is a joke. I got it. That's a stupid joke.
Confusing for some people. You know, quantum mechanics is also confusing, but it truly sounds like a great deal to me. Hold on, Actman, you say. I'm a senior executive at a multi-billion-dollar video game publishing company, and I don't have enough money.
Okay, to say that this joke, or whatever the goddamn hell this is supposed to be, is not landing, at least for me. Maybe you're smarter than me. You probably are. Let's be real. I'm here reacting to an Act Man video. That says a lot of my IQ, and how dramatically it is falling and how fast it's happening.
Money. What do I do? Oh, well, in that case, you should just do what Ubisoft is doing and simply delete people's digital possessions.
Go bankrupt?
That they paid for, and just tell them to go fuck themselves. What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and today let's talk about video game ownership and why this incredibly straightforward concept of paying for something and owning it is so complicated these days. Ubisoft doubles down. Buying digital games does not grant players any rights to, quote,
oh, is this about the crew? Okay, listen, the important thing about the crew to understand here is it's actually a 10-plus-year-old game. Yeah, it's a 10-plus-year-old game. Ubisoft let the servers stay on for 10-plus years with literally like 2 people playing it, and one of them was dead. And yeah, it happened for 10 years, and now people are making a fuss about it. Like, come on. It's not that they're like, it's not like there's a million people playing a game and Ubisoft's like, oh, you know what? This is not making enough money for it. Adios. Spit out. No, it's not like that. This is a literal dead game that not a single person is playing any longer.
Unlimited access. Oh, man. You will own nothing and be happy. Just stop owning things. That's a concerning headline if I've ever read one. What the heck is this all about?
2 years too late for that one, Chief?
Well, near the end of 2024, you may have heard about some niche racing game called The Crew, released back in 2014. And the reason this seemingly innocuous game was making headlines is because Ubisoft, the publisher, had decided to literally delete digital copies of the game from users' accounts. It's such a bizarre thing to do. It's more weird than...
Not at all. It's only an online game, so that's it.
Nintendo being like, hey, here's the Mario Superstars, but it's only available for a year to buy. Like, at least it's a limited time purchase, but like people paid for this game and now you're taking access away. Now, to be fair, The Crew was an online-only game, and naturally these have a limited shelf life. Remember MAG? I do. Barely. Regrettable as it is, I think most gamers understand that online services, especially for older games or older consoles, aren't going to be around forever. That's fair, but to go a step further and manually delete this game from people's accounts is wild. That's shady business.
I mean, it's not wild if you... There's no difference between it getting deleted and you can't log in.
I don't know why you would do that, except to like prevent people from modding it or accessing the files or really playing it ever again. When the publisher decided to shut down the servers, the game became inaccessible to those who had purchased it in both physical and digital form. Although the community had made efforts to keep the game alive as much as possible, the big surprise came when Ubisoft deleted the digital copies.
Is the crew on Steam? Let's actually check. The crew, Steam DB, yes, exists. Let's see. Let's see how many. Wait, there's one player in game, and the 25-hour peak has been 5. Holy shit. Let's look at. Okay, so roughly starting from a 2019's end and the start of 2020, the crew has had an average player base of 100 people. Okay, I'm not impressed. And the peak before that in 2018 was like 300. Okay, so, I mean, that's obviously not dead. That's way more alive than Concord. But, I mean, shit. Like, I don't know. I'm on the side of this. It's kind of reasonable to shut the crew down. It had an 11-year run. It's over. GG.
This led to a group of users filing a lawsuit in early November 2024. An actual lawsuit was filed for this. People got so pissed off. I know, I hadn't heard of the crew prior to this either. But for some people, like, they have their favorite game and they don't want to change, and they'll put thousands of hours into it, no matter how old it is, no matter what new games come out. Some people just have their mind set, you know what I mean? And this is an example where, like, yeah, just make it playable for them in some way so you can avoid this whole fiasco. But no, you don't own this game. You bought it in 2014. Sorry, we're revoking your access. Ubisoft has been hit with a lawsuit accusing them of misleading users about the fact that they had a revocable license. That's the crux of the issue, right? The plaintiffs, who purchased the game themselves, claim that Ubisoft deceived players who thought they were buying a game when instead they were only getting a license to it, even when acquiring a physical copy. Additionally, they propose that Ubisoft falsely represented the idea that the software's files.
Yeah, we already have seen this. We know about this. This doesn't matter.
Were in its physical discs. So this happened back in 2014, and that's where we come to today, where Ubisoft is doubling down on this idea that, oh, you purchased this thing over a decade ago? Sorry, we can just revoke.
Yeah, because you understand how much of an insane task it is to keep servers open for fucking ever? Like literally. Every game that has ever been online, if this goes through, every game that has ever been online now needs to reinstate its servers. Otherwise, they're fucked. Otherwise, they're gonna get sued if the company is still around. And there's no exceptions to this. If this goes through and wins, congratulations. Everything needs to go back online. There's no way this wins. This is stupid.
Your access. And that sets a shocking precedent for any Ubisoft title in the future, regardless of if it's online only or not. And here's where I stand, right? If you're Ubisoft and you got this small group of people that care this much about an old game, just let them fucking play it. Like, find a way. Why risk turning this into a massive PR scandal when you are Ubisoft and you already have enough of those going on right now? It comes at a really bad time because I don't know about you, but it seems like big corporations in the world's global economy has been shifting towards this like subscription service. Companies don't want you to own anything. They don't want you to own DVDs. They don't want you to own movies. They want you.
What a brave take.
You to rent everything. So you have temporary access and you become reliant.
Guys, do you hear about this? Companies don't want you to own stuff. They want you to pay. Wow, really, Axeman? Really? I hadn't noticed. Wow, I'm an alien. I just came to Earth. I had no idea. Thank you for enlightening me. Bro, these aren't even takes at this point. He's literally telling you fucking 5 years old news at the best of times. This is crazy.
On paying that monthly fee to have access to the things you want. But you know what? If buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing. Now let me give you something to compare this with, right? So I'm about to say something good about EA. I know. Crazy times.
Imagine being so afraid of saying something good about a company that people typically hate because your audience is literally too stupid to understand to not get mad at you. Man, that's audience capture in an extreme degree. Holy shit, Hassan has less of an audience capture than this.
See, back in 2002, there was this fucking amazing RTS FPS hybrid game that came out called Command and Conquer Renegade. It's a shooter unlike any game you have ever played, trust me. Totally unique, had a kick-ass multiplayer. The servers were live on GameSpy for quite a while, but as with all good things, it inevitably came to an end and the servers were shut down. But still, many hardcore fans remained because no other FPS game is quite like Command & Conquer Renegade. And this small group of fans took it upon themselves to create a sort of spiritual successor to Renegade called Renegade X. It is totally free, has been supported and updated for over a decade, and expands on the original vision far beyond what I think anybody expected. The developers behind Renegade X at Totem Arts make a total of $0 from this game. They have not only preserved the multiplayer of an old classic that would have died out and been totally forgotten, they've added a ton of content to it. And EA, despite being within their full legal rights to DMCA the fuck out of Renegade X, they instead have given Totem Arts their blessing to keep updating this game. Nobody's making money from it. It's just for the love of the game. This mod is EA approved. And you know, we've shit on EA a lot over the years, but gotta give credit where credit is due. That's really cool. Do you think Nintendo
So brave.
would do something like that? No, Nintendo doesn't even host fucking Smash Melee tournaments. They shut that shit down religiously. Examples like Renegade X should not be the exception to the rule. They should be the standard, right? If Ubisoft isn't gonna sell the crew, if they're not gonna support it, if they don't give a fuck about it, then give it to the fans. It's been over a decade. If there's people that still care about it, who gives a fuck? This doesn't seem like a copyright issue if you come to an agreement, right? Like, if they don't enforce their copyright, they lose the copyright.
Yeah, nothing's an issue if you make an agreement for it. Yes? But what if they don't?
Right? But it doesn't seem like it's a copyright issue at all. It just seems like part of some new policy where Ubisoft wants to have the power to decide what games you own and what games you don't. Ubisoft reminds us of a sad reality about video games. Boy, you can say that again. They have responded to the lawsuit filed by California gamers who claim that the French company's actions, quote, violate the state's consumer protection laws. Now, I don't know how to begin unpacking.
Wait, I didn't know this. So the lawsuit is California state laws. That means if Ubisoft really fucking wants to, they can just stop doing business in California. And that's it. Done.
Video game law, let alone international video game law. But you go, King. However, Ubisoft failed to dismiss the case, with its lawyers arguing that there is no reason for gamers to believe that they had unfettered ownership rights in the game. They bought it.
They bought it a decade ago. I'm pretty sure they actually thought that they do. Like, the reasonable assumption there is that you do own the game. I guess they can literally bypass it just by not deleting it off the systems? I wonder if that is the solution to this, by the way. I wonder if the solution is, well, we're not going to delete it from systems, but you're never going to be able to log in it anyway, because, I mean, you bought the game, you own the game, if you can't play the game, that's not really our issue. I wonder if the argument can go like that. I mean, because it's technically a nonsensical argument that doesn't just pass the validity of reality, and that doesn't usually hold up in court.
They bought it though. This isn't like World of Warcraft where
But then again, you bought an online game, and everyone knows it's unreasonable to assume that it's gonna be there forever.
even back in the day, everybody knew and understood, yeah, I'm paying for a subscription to the game. This just seems like Ubisoft making a mountain out of a molehill, and it sets a very strange
I think you're just a fucking idiot, though. Honestly, that's kind of my take on this.
and shocking precedent for the future, right? What, like, if they could just revoke your access at any time, like, why the fuck would you buy a game from them? Ubisoft continues to say, frustrated with Ubisoft's recent decision to retire the game following a notice period delineated on the product's packaging, plaintiffs apply a kitchen sink approach on behalf of a putative case of nationwide customers, alleging 8 cases of action including violations of California's false advertising law, unfair competition, and Consumer Legal Remedies Act, as well as common law fraud and breach of warranty claims. The case is still ongoing, however. In March, the plaintiffs added an addendum with new allegations against the company, stating that Ubisoft is violating rules regarding the sale of gift certificates, which they argue could be considered the crew's currency. Since gift cards cannot expire in California, the plaintiffs argue that when the crew closed, so did the in-game credit. Ubisoft now has until April 29th to respond. Now, at this point, you might be...
What if they? I heard about this. I wonder if Ubisoft can literally just say, "Okay, all of your in-game credits and gift cards are gonna become null and void by this date. You have a time to redeem them. If not, well, kickstand, I guess."
be losing the argument if you stoop down to, like, gift cards. This is just my impression of things, but it seems like the fans, or the plaintiffs in this case, just want to fucking play the game however they can. They're probably rightfully pissed off that the game has been torn away from them, and at the same time it seems like Ubisoft is taking this hyper legal approach when going the route of EA and Renegade X would probably satisfy everyone just fine. I don't understand what's so hard about, like, I don't know, allowing these people to mod the game, make their own private servers. Fuck it, why not? The reason this is a story and not some random game just being shut down that nobody cares about is...
This isn't even a story, really. Oh no, at least it kind of bores me a little bit. Anyway, that was the Act Fam 10 out of 10. Bye!